thought we'd do something a little bit different. Every week I know I mention my CSA box that I get, and it's actually a little bit of a misnomer. When I pick it up from my drop location, it is in a box, but then I take this large bag outside of the box and leave the box so it can be reused next week. So I thought we would look at what I get inside of my box this week and sort of talk about how I handle all the vegetables that I get on a weekly basis. So the first thing is I get this great flyer that has a few recipes on the back, some information about the farms and what's going on at the time, and also obviously a list of everything that's in my bag, just in case I'm not familiar with any of the vegetables. The next thing I get, which is my favorite thing about this particular CSA, is a bouquet of flowers that are in season and local as well. So I love getting a weekly bouquet of flowers. It's such a treat. So let's see what we got this week. Okay, I got a bag of salad greens, which is wonderful. They're usually lightly washed, but I try to wash them before I put them into a salad. But this is really nice to store. I can put it straight into the fridge. Strawberries are finally coming into season. I love the strawberries I've been getting from this farm. They've been super sweet, some of the best strawberries I've ever had. Strawberries I store just like this. I'll put them straight into the fridge and rinse them before I eat them, and eat them quickly. You don't want them to stay in the fridge too long. Next up, stuff's dropping, I better grab it first. Carrots, bag of carrots. I will put this into the fridge just as is. Sometimes I'll add a paper towel if they look moist, just to absorb any extra moisture. Some Meyer lemons. These have the best flavor. If you're lucky enough to have them where you live, definitely stock up on a few. They make great desserts, or you can add them to drinks and they're delicious. Okay, got some beautiful, huge leeks this week. 3 really large ones. I'm gonna set these over by the sink because I am gonna top them, and I'll show you what that is. Okay, next up, I got some rapini greens. Rapini greens are actually in the same family as broccoli, so you can prepare them almost the same way you would prepare broccoli or any other types of greens. This is some spinach, not baby spinach. You can see these leaves are really big and huge, but this is a good, healthy bunch of spinach. Spinach usually grows in a sandy environment, so even if your spinach is in a bag and it says it's washed, I would recommend that you give it a quick wash and make sure that you get any of that sand off of it. And the last thing is mustard greens. Mustard greens, and you can see I get huge bunches of greens. So Brad and I will usually split this into at least 2 servings, if not 3, depending on what we're eating. Mustard greens have a little bit of spiciness to them and a really subtle mustardy flavor. You can cook these like most greens and they're delicious. And I've got a few more Meyer lemons here. I'll set them aside. So actually most of this box this week is really simple. I always take the rubber bands off, and I recommend you do this with stuff you get from the grocery store as well. But I always take the rubber bands off, and then I'll put all of this with a loose wrapping of paper towels into a plastic bag, and then I'll put it straight into the fridge. Same process for the rapini greens and the spinach. They all go into plastic with a little bit of paper towel. Carrots, as I said, go straight in. And the only tricky one, which isn't very tricky at all, is to top the leeks. So be sure again to take off the rubber band on your leeks, because if you're not going to use them right away, the rubber band will actually cut into them and leave marks. And the thing you want to do with leeks is cut off all these leafy bits at the top. If you have the fridge space to store them as is, that's great, but I don't. So I remove all these leafy bits at the top, and then I can put them into a smaller bag and store them like that. And the final thing that I do every week is put all of my flowers into a vase. And then I have a happy vase on my table to enjoy the whole week through. So that's a quick installment of thewholewheat.com, a quick look at the CSA box that I get on a weekly basis. And I'll try and do this again when I have more vegetables to talk about how I prepare them when I get them home before I eat them. So I hope you're having a great week and that you enjoyed this installment of thewholewheat.com.